It's the most wonderful time of the year for getting in on all the hoops, football and hockey action at DraftKings Sportsbook. In the season of giving, we're being gifted college football and basketball, pro football and basketball, and pro hockey too, almost 24/7.
So many games every day, so many opportunities to place your first bet. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and place your bet. And here's a gift for all new customers. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Jenkins. That's code Jenkins for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Happy holidays from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
2, 1.
Welcome to Jenkins and Jones on the Volume Podcast Network. It is Thursday, December 12th, and we are joined by one of our best buddies, Claire De Lune. Claire, thank you so much for hopping on.
Thanks for having me back. I missed you guys.
We miss you too, buddy.
You're
You're over there with the cool kids on Blue
with the
Sky
skaters.
now. With the
skaters.
We're not going to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
With the cousin skaters.
The posters.
You guys will
Posters
break
on
down
Blue
and do it
Sky.
eventually. You're too cool now, but you'll come crawling back to
Don't
where the
say that.
engagement is eventually.
We
I'm not too
did
cool
talk
for
about
shit.
this on the show, and my stance was this. I think people think Tyler needs to post, and he does not. And I think when Twitter dies, Tyler will leave. And I think when Tyler leaves, I'm just going to, follow my good captain into the sunset and be done with this particular form of phone addiction. I do truly believe that's what will happen. But Tyler and I do both have our accounts like reserved over there just in case. And then John actually you put a photo on yours and stuff. Didn't you? You actually set it up, didn't you?
I set it up. Yeah.
But I would
Whenever
say,
you guys
because I
are
know
ready
you,
to cross the rainbow bridge and onto blue sky, I'll be there waiting.
I know
You
you
guys-
and Mina both to say your follower counts is actually higher there and stuff. Now, I did get like 500 followers without even having it. The account is just a zombie account. It's not even on there or whatever.
Yeah.
So salute to the Blue Skyers. I know we do have people in our chat every episode trying to get us over there, but I truly don't think it's going to happen.
Keep pressuring them, chat.
Wow.
Same.
Immediate mutiny fucking from the chat. Okay. Claire, as always, you can find her stuff on The Guardian, and you can follow her on Blue Sky. As always, Jenkins and Jones, and Twitter.
And X.
At X. As always, Jenkins and Jones, hosted by Dragonfly Jonez, aka Tyler.
Hey, everybody, have a good.
LaJethro Jenkins, aka John.
Was Aunt Bubba's.
I'm Guardy B, aka Mike.
Motherfucking Mike.
And we're produced as always by the lovely and talented Jackson Saffon. Beard's coming in nice, Jackson.
Thank you. My mom wanted to relay that she approves of the beard. Her words were, "I like your face too much for you to keep it forever."
I like
but
it.
That's such a beautiful
such a mom
way.
thing.
Yeah, much a
the
mom
most
thing to
mom
say.
thing you
Like,
could
yeah,
possibly
yeah.
Love it.
It's the most
Yeah.
mom.
It looks good though.
Shout out,
My mom doesn't know what my face looks like without a beard because I've only in my adult life not had a beard for about 45 seconds. So this is my face that she loves. You know what I mean?
You only have a beard for not have a beard for 45. It's like, what kind of hair growth speed are we talking here?
I had a goatee as a junior in high school, and then I grew it out to a full beard of like this thickness when I was like 18. And when I think when my wife and I were in our like mid 20s, I shaved it.
All
and
of it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Completely baby face.
What does Shar say?
Shar said,
That was enough. See that?
and
I
then
mean, I
grew it.
technically still love you, but
Yeah, and then I grew it back, and I think I've told this story on the pod, but at one point I brought up the idea of shaving it again, and she said, and she didn't really actually say anything negative about it when it was shaved, but when I brought up doing it again, she said, "Why don't you keep the beard, and then that way when people see us out together, they won't assume that you're rich." And I was like,
from the top row.
And I was like,
oh my god,
I got you.
That's the actual face she's talking about.
That's my
dog. Like,
actual
that's
face.
what's crazy.
that is
Yo,
wild.
But again, she's only seen me for 3 days of the however many 100 years we've been together without facial hair. So this is my actual face. You know what I mean? The makeup's been on so long, it's what it looks
That's the
like.
face
now.
that she chose. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
That's right.
I respect the
I got-
honesty.
I told you about the story about the dude who shaved his beard and like his wife didn't want to fuck with him anymore.
Yeah.
Like she wrote in to like this, or she called into this like hotline on this radio hotline, like my husband shaved his beard, and it was like for work, like he had to shave his beard, and she's like, I don't like looking at him anymore. Like she didn't want to be with him.
Wow.
Like that's how crazy that shit is. That's how man makeup, bro. Man,
Hey,
makeup.
brother, there's no such
Once you
thing
get
as
the ick, you get
unconditional
the ick.
love. Yeah, yeah. The
It is
ick doesn't
bad.
go away.
Right?
You can't wash the ick off.
Crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
All right, let's talk about the National Basketball Association Cup, shall we?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
What is the group's reaction to the foul call at the end of the Warriors-Rockets game? 3 seconds left, 80 feet from the basket, as Steve Kerr pointed out about 17 times in his post-game press conference. Loose ball on the ground. They call a foul on the Warriors. Warriors are up by 1. Rockets make their 2 free throws and win the game. What did you guys think of that foul call?
I thought it was a wild call. I think that, and I understand why the refs made it. I think, but we've seen calls like that before where they usually just give the team the timeout instead of saying we're not jump balling this, right? Like we're going to reward the first guy who was on the ground for the ball. We're going to reward possession of them, give them a timeout if they call it. And I get that. I think that there's some logic behind that. But to call a foul there, it's like, yo,
Crazy.
you're locking the game up for Houston, with that call. Plain and simple. But at the same time, I am not going to feel sorry for Golden State getting shafted on the end of questionable foul calls. They are a team that damn near every screen they set was a moving screen, during their championship run, right? Like that was a legit. Like Draymond was out there being a left guard, bro. You know what I mean? like he was out there on the inside zone on a lot of pick and rolls. So there's no part of me that can do anything but find the humor in Steve Kerr
Complaining about fouls.
Complaining about foul calls in a post game. But I do enjoy how this is kind of lending some legitimacy to the in-season tournament cup, because we've got the figurehead of the Warriors crying about a foul.
It's real beef.
Yeah,
It's real. It's real NBA Cup beef
for sure. And bro, the Rockets broke a 15-game losing streak against the Warriors with this.
They hadn't beat them since before COVID.
Dog, like, bro, and Rockets fans were out there pulling out egregious missed foul calls from like 2018 last night. Like, I was like, let the Rockets fans have this moment. We are taking this shit back to 2018.
It was a supercut of the fouls they missed. They had a supercut I saw of the fouls they missed. It was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
They're like, look, hey, you cannot talk about this. We've been on the other side of too many of these.
Yeah, so look,
Crazy.
so look, I'll agree with you, Warriors fans. It was an egregious foul call. Am I gonna cry and pick it with you? Absolutely not. I'm going to enjoy the crying coming from that side.
Going around is coming around. You feel?
I
me?
feel you, but like
dog.
my thing is like sports cops have the worst main character syndrome. Like they just want it to be about them, and they want that when they can feel the spotlight shifting away from them, they immediately just try and like summon it back. And it drives me crazy. Like, let the players decide the game. Like, and the thing is, they weren't calling fouls that whole game. They were letting shit go. It was like foul after foul after foul, and they were letting them play, which I'm with. It's a high stakes environment. Let them play. But then you're going to call a foul not only in that moment, but when Gary Payton just got fouled right before that exact same foul that they called happened to Gary Payton when he originally had possession of the ball. So to me, that was just like, I understand why Warriors fans are pissed, not because the game ended on a foul call, but just because it's like either call the shit or don't. You know what I'm saying? But don't switch it up when there's 3.5 seconds left to play. But you do make valid points. They have been the beneficiaries of calls in the past. I'm anti-sports cops in general. I feel like they need to calm down.
I will add this with Claire being a veteran reporter. It's a great stance to take. And it is part of the reason that I'm sure Claire gets the access she does. Great stance to take to be default against the refs in all situations. That's a very good Wiley reporter move. Yes.
I will say they have a very hard job, because when they do their job really well, you don't notice it at all. That's like best case scenario for a ref. You forget that they're even there. So it's not like they're getting like, wow, that ref called the shit out of that game. They did such a good job, and like they did so amazing. Like that never happens. But that's what you sign up for when you put on those zebra stripes. You know what I'm saying? So like, it is what it is.
The refs.
The chat agrees with Tyler. I put a poll. Do you guys feel bad for the Warriors? And 83% right now say
Bro,
no.
Yeah.
we've been on the ass end of a lot of this shit. Of course, we never feel bad for the Warriors. The fuck you
Yeah,
mean?
that phrasing, I feel like leading the witness a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
Jackson.
You
But
feel me? You feel me?
That was the way Tyler phrased it.
Well,
okay? I
Tyler was
trying
not
to
even leading
be
the witness.
true
He was
to the
delivering a
question.
closing argument. So you've ceded the whole Overton window to Tyler's argument.
I was trying to be fair to Tyler.
we always want to be fair to Tyler.
I think the one thing I would say that occurred to me, and Claire talked about never appreciating the refs when they do a good job. We also never appreciate the moments when like Twitter conspiracy theories are proven to not be true. We only look for confirmation. I don't ever want to hear shit about the NBA rigging stuff again.
Yeah,
Because I
for sure.
promise you, no one in New York was sitting there going, please, we need the Rockets to get through to Las Vegas. Don't let Steph Curry get to Las Vegas. We need the Rockets and the Thunder. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way that is what the NBA wanted. And I did see people, the one criticism leveled against Steve Kerr was, why not challenge that? And basically, give the refs 30 seconds to review it, where maybe they get that double buzz in that back pocket. You know what I mean? From the head office of like motherfucker, you phrase it however you want to phrase it, but you are reversing.
This can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think every, scruff or whatever you want to call it on the floor for a loose ball can be a foul. There's all types of reaching over the body and all that there. You can call those a foul every time if you want.
You can call everyone a foul or a travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what he said. It wasn't going to be overturned. That he knew it wasn't going to be overturned because there probably was contact. That's why he saved it, and he wanted to. And there was a miss. The TNT guys sort of like got, unfortunately, when the audio cut out of the Steve Kerr's presser, they thought he was saying he was trying to save his challenge, but I think he was trying to say his timeout because he knew he needed to advance the ball if they were down by 1 with 3 seconds to go. So he's in a tough spot.
What would it take for you to call that foul, or you do think that?
I would never call that foul under any circumstances.
I think you have to punch somebody in the face. I think
I think it have to be elbow or fist to the face.
Rudy Gobert in a headlock.
You might have to grab a weapon.
I would not call a foul in that situation, even with a headlock, unless I saw someone stomping a foot downward on someone on the ground.
So the Sabonis Draymond moment.
On a scale
Draymond moment, on a scale of Draymond fouls.
Or if you spin around and hit someone with the back of your
legal
fist,
in that
maybe,
situation in my playbook. Yeah.
Right.
I love that actually as like the arbitrary foul scale, just using only Draymond Green examples.
I do think that does have something to do with what Tyler's saying about not having any sympathy for the Warriors.
That's fair. I would never call. I mean, that's just like, especially when you haven't been calling it all game, but even if you have, it's just, you just can't decide the game on free throws. It's so anticlimactic. Like, I hate game deciding free throws.
Yeah, it did make for an incredible. Steve Kerr was about as angry as I've ever seen a coach in a.
Yeah.
I mean, it was using language. He like when you start hearing, he said an elementary school ref wouldn't make that call. That's like, you're really over the top. And I love the melodrama of. Did you see his quote on the critiquing what the court looked like? That he said, if I felt like I was descending into hell.
Yeah, into the depths of hell.
I know Rockets fans were like, good. I hope so.
Welcome to hell.
Yeah, I hope we tormented the fuck out of you without court.
The other cup game last night was Trae Young continuing to haunt the Knicks' dreams. I do see that our producer, Josh Rodriguez, Knicks fan, conveniently absent from this episode. But Trae with the dice roll at center court as time was running out. How much did you enjoy that game, crew? And how much did you enjoy the way Trae is relishing whatever else is happening in his career? He's going to torture Knicks fans as much as possible.
I love it. It's one of my favorite storylines in the NBA right now is how Trae Young just wants to torment the Knicks at every turn. And, someone who was a Knicks fan in a previous life and still has a particular affinity for them and is halfway rooting for them, even as that type of guy, I love it. And I'm sure a lot of Knicks fans love it too, even if begrudgingly so, because the fact that Trae Young respects your franchise enough that he wants you to hate them. You know, that's a good sign. We haven't had someone embrace being a Knicks villain since fucking Reggie Miller in 94. It's been 30 years, bro. You know what I mean? Y'all are back. Y'all are legitimately on the scene as a contender now that you have a dude who is relishing in being, you know, hated by your fan base. And I think another reason that deep down Knicks fans probably begrudgingly love this, you know, this rivalry with Trae is because, bro, Trae, he is New York basketball. Like,
he's one of them.
Yeah, when you think New York basketball, you think flashy point guards. No one goes to the Rucker to see the post play, bro. You know what I mean? You go to see dudes who can dribble their ass off, who can pass their ass off, and that's Trae. You know what I mean? And the whole rolling of the dice on the half court thing, bro. He did that in the dice rolling capital of the world. Like, you know what I mean? like how do you not respect that as a New York, right? Yeah.
That's why the buildings have cinder blocks on the bottom so that the dice could pop off at the right.
So I know that even if Knicks fans hate him, there's some respect, even if it's begrudging.
Yeah. The game was kind of a dub. I mean, that was like not a great game though. Can we agree? It was
There's
like
a reason I'm only bringing up the celebration at the end of the game for sure.
Yeah, it was like nobody could hit the broadside of a barn for a lot of it. And you could, you know, say that was great defense, but I feel like it was just mostly bad offense.
No, I think I could say that there was great defense in the Thunder game, and I think you could say that there was really good defense for long stretches of the Warriors Rockets game. I think if the Warriors had won, we'd be talking about that being as good a game as Draymond has played defensively in quite a while. But the Knicks, I will not accept that the Knicks Hawks game was good defense. That was I may have been Bomani, but someone said on Twitter, it's not a good sign with where the style of the game is that when either team makes a three, you can't help but feel happy for them. Like, oh, good. That like they got one to go down. Like it was a brutal, that game to me was the argument against like the direction that the game has kind of gone in. You know what I mean? Because when people are missing, it is disgusting.
Yeah. I will say Cat was incredible. I mean, I think he fouled out. It's like death and taxes. Of course he fouled out, but I do think he's been showing why New York won that trade. You know, I mean, he's been, first of all, the like story arc for his character, like the character arc of like, you know, the big bodega, like whatever, like New York Cat. He really seems like he's like more comfortable in his own skin there. And he's like, I would have thought before he went to New York that if he was trying to be like a badass, I would have been like, it's not landing. It doesn't resonate, but it kind of works. Like New York Cat is kind of a vibe. Like he's just like I don't know if you saw the previous game to that one. He hit the game winner.
Yeah.
And he was like pulling out the jersey and showing the New York, and he was like, New York, like into the camera. And if you had told me a year ago that he was doing that, I would have been like, I'm going to roll my eyes at that. But it was kind of lit. Like I was like, okay, Cat, like I love New York Cat. Like he's hooping. He had 15 first half rebounds last night. Like he's been awesome for New York. He's been way better than Mikal Bridges, who they gave up, you know, like 80,000 first round picks for. So good for Cat.
Yeah, I think that, you know, a concern that a lot of folks have was, I don't know if Cat's going to be built for the New York City media or whatever. Right. It's early in the season, but he looks like he was born to be a Knick so far.
1000%. Yeah.
He is a perfect fit. And like you said, he's balling. You know, the Knicks are 15-10. There's and I think a lot of us came into the season knowing that they were going to have to figure things out. It's a whole new roster just about, you know, on the top end. But yeah, I mean, Cat's for sure not one of their concerns, but you know, Mikal Bridges.
It is crazy in retrespect that we thought a fake tough guy wouldn't fly in New York. You know what I mean? That's the fake tough guy capital of the world.
Watch it. Watch it.
They got some legit
at least one New Yorker on the
No, they do. That's a SoCal shot right there. But I do think like saying of Cat, like, oh, he might be too theatrical for New York. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, like, have we been to New York?
Like a guy who, you know, like, yeah, I think in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense that he's playing well there because that big personality, it was kind of big in Minnesota. And I use this example with like, imagine being his height and size anywhere in Minnesota.
Yeah, I've lived in both places, New York City and Minnesota, which
it's easier to picture him walking down the street or hanging out at the park in New York, I would assume, with you having lived in both places.
Yeah, well, and also the thing about Minnesota that like nobody wants to admit is people are way judgier and meaner in Minnesota than they are in New York. Like the
That's
thing
that
about New
Minnesota
York is
nice,
like,
right?
yeah,
That's that
Minnesota
fake
nice is
Yeah.
fake as hell. And the thing about New York is like New Yorkers are brash and they don't give a shit. And if you're walking by them on the street, they're like, get out of my way. But if you need them, like if you're in a crisis, everybody on the subway is going to drop what they're doing to help you. Like that's like the true New York. Whereas Minnesota, everyone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, hi, how's your day? Oh my God, did you see that guy? He's so tall. It's so weird, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like for somebody from Jersey, he probably just feels way more like at home and at peace in New York. And I'm happy for him. Also, his jersey's going to go triple platinum at the Dominican Day Parade. Oh my God. It'll be the likes of which we've never seen. So
I think I'm sort of with Kat on the like that upper Midwest. Do you refer to that region as upper Midwest? Are you comfortable with that? No.
I mean, it's Midwest. I mean, it's technically the upper part of the Midwest, but yeah.
there is a difference to like Ohio, Indiana culture versus
For sure.
like Minnesota,
Minnesota's
Wisconsin.
Very like Norwegian, like quiet, cold. Yeah.
Right. But I would be with Kat in that their brand of niceness up there when I've been in Minnesota and Wisconsin, it gives me anxiety.
1000%.
Like it's just very like, first of all, why are you talking to me? And then second of all, like the facade is like uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Giving
It's nice,
Stepford
it's not
vibes.
kind.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's exactly
Yeah.
it. That's exactly it.
I also think that Cat, I think it's fair to say, is like kind of an odd
For sure.
guy. He's like his personality is just like pretty weird. And sometimes that just kind of like gets old after a while. And he was in Minnesota for a long time. And now he has just sometimes people like that just need a fresh start. And I think that like really works in his favor.
I think Cat is a reactionary weird, not a legitimately weird. And what I mean by that is he's someone who pays attention to the things that are said about him and tries to counter that. Like when he tried putting on that deep voice in the post game when we were clowning his voice, right? Like, like he's not legitimately deep in his core weird. He tries to combat the weird allegations, and then he makes himself look even weirder in doing so. But I think he might be turning in I don't give a fuck leaf in New York, because New York's the perfect place to do that. So we'll see.
Yeah. And he seems to like really thrive in and love, to your point, like the drama and the theater of being a Knick and playing an MSG and that sort of the theatrics of it all. Which as much as like the bring ya ass like ant, movement in Minnesota is trying to make that a thing, like that's such a Knick New York thing. So he seems like he's really thriving. He's basically a basketball theater kid. So he's just thriving in that New York environment, and good for him.
We've got looking ahead a little bit, we'll talk about the Thunder in a second, but I just want to set up Saturday's games. The early game Saturday on TNT will be Hawks Bucks. This podcast was certainly one of many national podcasts that very much enjoyed the Doc Rivers demise of the Bucks storylines early in the season. They have certainly turned it around and are on quite a run right now. We're all Giannis fans, and so I assume you guys are as happy as I am that at the idea of the Bucks competing, as funny as the Doc Rivers jokes are. And I do feel like the Bucks are a great example of the value of the in-season of the cup, which is here's a team with a couple star players that struggled. That was sort of the early narrative that was out. And now you get a chance to kind of see what they look like in these meaningful games. And obviously Giannis is going to have to carry the burden of being the star player playing on Saturday. But what do you think of Hawks Bucks, and where do you guys feel like the Bucks are in their sort of journey of the season?
I honestly do not know what to make of the Bucks right now. They had that troubling, concerning start where we all thought that they were about to blow it up, and then Giannis was like, hey, let me remind everyone that I'm the second best player in the world at absolute worst. It seems like every night he's putting up like 41 and 18 or something ridiculous. As far as the matchup, but I'm not sure how sustainable that is for Milwaukee. I don't know if you can just depend on Giannis to be otherworldly if you want to, be a 50-win team, so but as far as the matchup, I love it. We're gonna have Trae, who's on fire, versus Giannis, who's on fire. This is another matchup that for sure we didn't get any calls from Adam Silver about. You don't have the Bucks and the Hawks to see who represents the East in the Cup. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that game.
My only bone to pick with the Bucks right now is that Taurean Prince is currently the best 3-point shooter in the NBA. He's shooting 54% from 3, and it's like watching your dusty ex who could not get it together for you starts dating a new girl. All of a sudden he has a new car, he has a new job, he's like, popping on social, whatever, and it's just like, I gave you everything you asked for, everything you needed. You started 50-something games last year. Like, where was this 3-point shooting on the Lakers?
To extend your analogy, don't you feel like if you have that experience with like 15 X's in a row, don't you at some point have to look in the mirror and go, is it me?
It's definitely
for sure.
them.
There's a curse. Yeah, there's definitely a curse. I would never.
Why do all of these people seem so happy after they leave me?
The lights were brighter than expected, or whatever that meme is. Like,
I think we need to give credit to current Bucks assistant coach Darvin Ham,
undefeated in the Cup.
For bringing Taurean along. And we're seeing JJ, having the same struggles that Darvin was having, and Taurean is balling. It's low key a little vindication tour for Darvin right about now, dog.
Well, LeBron brought his son to the Lakers, and Darvin brought his son to the Bucks. So it's really a happy story for everyone.
We're less than 2 months into the season, and this podcast is giving Darvin Ham more credit than JJ.
Absolutely. Well, we gave JJ credit when the Lakers were fucking 4-1, and we thought they were going to win the championship.
Yeah, we did a weekend.
If the Bucks win and Darvin Ham is undefeated in the history of the Cup, do they have to name it after him? Is it going to be
the Memorial Darvin Ham NBA
Ham Cup?
The Ham Cup.
The Ham Cup sounds like something that your mom packs in your lunch that you have to trade immediately. You're like, I don't want this. Does anybody have fruit by the foot?
You're not getting fruit by the foot for a ham cup, though. There's no way, bro.
A ham cup and a bag of cheeses.
You might get yellow fruit snacks. You might get the fruit snacks people don't want, like picked out of the bag for your ham cup. Yeah.
I feel like this might be the Virginia in me battling here, but I've never had bad ham. Have y'all? Like, I would have.
But a ham cup.
A cup of like some diced ham or some shit. That sounds delicious.
The ham you're getting,
I'm picturing it in like the thing that the mandarin oranges come in. I'm picturing it coming in a thing with some brine in it or something, bro. It's what I'm picturing with ham cup is bad.
I love it so much.
But what I'm picturing with ham cup is bad.
You don't need to brine ham because ham is already salt cured.
I'm picturing it like the Lunchables, like the little.
But I'm just saying, when you say a cup,
it's going to come in that
with a wooden spoon or some shit. It's not just going to be raw in the cup.
Have y'all ever had bad ham? Like even cold cubed ham on a salad or on.
We never had a ham cup. This is something brand new. The way they're going to have to preserve the ham.
I've never had bad ice cream, but I don't like the ice cream that's like pure ice that comes with the wooden spoon that you have to fucking like hammer it in to break
Italian
off this
ice.
shit, you know?
Yeah.
Italian ice is great. I like it.
That's what you're describing.
No. I'm talking about
hammer it with the wooden
I'm talking
spoon?
about the vanilla
I don't know why I
ice.
just said this
Vanilla
on the
ice
that was not.
Oops.
Might be mean, brother.
I'm talking about the vanilla cup with the half a squirt of fudge on the side of it that was like with the wooden spoon that would cut your tongue up. Y'all never had that?
What are you talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. Also, Mikey in the chat said Virginia ham is delicious.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
we got
sure.
the ham capital of the world. Shout out to Smithfield, bro.
Maybe that's your Virginia privilege showing that you only had access to the finest ham. The rest of us were slumming it with the nasty Lunchable shit.
Yeah. I will say, Tyler, the Lunchables ham is bad ham, bro. I have had bad ham. You would probably correctly say it does not qualify as ham, but like I genuinely
that is the ham that would come in a ham cup.
Lunchables turn me off a ham,
Jackson's
and that would be the ham
that
cup ham.
Yeah, that's the ham cup ham, bro.
No, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the funniest chat comment we have today so far, which is Mike's grandma definitely had a ham cup for Thanksgiving.
Bro, somebody hit me in my mentions.
The amount of comments we get about Mike's grandma. My dad was texting me about Mike's grandma.
Somebody DM me about jelly beans.
Jelly beans.
This is Mike's grandma. To give you some context, Claire, Can we talk about it, Mike?
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Oh my, I love
You can
that.
make fun of the sweetest woman in the history
God,
of the
bro.
species and how poor
Mike's
she grew up.
grandma at one point in her life,
Mhm.
her and her two other siblings, they each got a jelly bean for Christmas.
One
was a
single
depression.
jelly
It was
bean?
for their birthday. They didn't get anything for Christmas, bro.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Come on, John.
Only spare one jelly bean at a
What?
time, so they got it for their birthday instead.
Okay, here's
And
what
that
I would
was-
say, and it would make my grandma happy that everyone's getting jokes off her expense, genuinely. But this is what I would say about the level of poverty my grandma grew up in. We also thought it was funny until she found one Christmas we were going through like her family stuff, and she found a picture of the shack that she grew up in, and I remember at like 13 being like, "Oh, that's not."
Yeah.
That's real.
I was like,
That's
"Oh,
just
she
because
grew
it's
up in
turned.
hell." Like, we better stop making jokes about grandma.
Okay.
I'm so
stop
sorry to
hitting me in
Mike's
my
grandma.
DMs about the jelly beans, okay?
I
No
hope
more
you gave
jelly
her
bean jokes.
copious jelly beans as an adult. I hope she was just,
My
all of the
grandma,
jelly beans you could ever want.
She went on to have a wonderful life. She and my grandpa, all they wanted was a fig tree in the backyard. They had a fig tree, and they could make their own whatever the fuck you make out of figs.
Big
Jam?
Newtons.
Hey, that's that depression generation. That
Fig Newtons are crazy, though.
Fig Newtons was like they
I'm a
couldn't
big
believe you could
Fig
buy
Newton
fig
fan.
Newtons.
You
at
could
the
probably get
store.
a fig Newton for a ham cup.
Fig Newtons are good. I keep my Fig Newton. I'm telling you that, brother. No brine ham for my Fig Newtons. Gotta
Am
find
I
another
on-
sucker.
I like that you said brother and like it was vaguely directed towards me. I'm like, wow, I've really arrived on this podcast. I'm honorary.
Brother is definitely
Man.
cross gender on this podcast.
Yeah, for sure, for
I call my
sure.
wife and
Yeah,
my
yeah.
mom bro as well. That's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
you know, that's part of the way we move.
Dame's been playing good though. I wanted to say that. We haven't been talking about Dame. Dame been playing good. And last game, he basically carried them at the end of it. You know what I mean? So I think the Bucks look good. I just wanted to say
Dame's
that
like the
real quick.
refs. It's like when Dame's playing good, no one talks about it. And
But
when
that's-
Dame's playing
that's-
bad,
that's
it's the
the
biggest story.
expectation.
That's
Yeah,
being the
yeah.
number 2 guy to
Yeah.
Giannis. Like that's 100%. That's not an easy role to accept. The other game, the ratings watchers, the NBA ratings watchers, thrilled for this one. Rockets Thunder. I did get a chance to watch the entire start to finish without having work to do or kids bothering me or anything else. I got to watch the entire Rockets Thunder Mavs game. I'm very attracted to the Thunder's defense.
They are a
They're
good,
so good.
basketball
They're
team.
so good.
Bro.
They're so good.
So
They have
good.
everything.
So good.
There's no hole. And Chet was sitting on the bench. They're
Yeah.
whooping ass, and Chet is sitting on
Clapping
the bench
hands,
in like a
like, you
fuzzy
know.
fucking velour suit,
Yeah.
looking like
The fact
Abraham
that they-
Lincoln and Juicy Couture.
What a visual.
looking like a fucking nightmare. Just looking like the ghost of Christmas past, bro.
That is a nightmare, though.
Hey.
Abraham Lincoln and Juicy Couture
Fine.
is an actual nightmare. I might have had that shit before, bro. That's crazy.
Fucking,
that's nightmare
fucking
fuel for sure.
imagining Chet Holmgren coming down your chimney to drop Christmas presents off. That's the
Slender
ET
Man?
tweet. I'll tell you one thing. Me and my friends
Hell
would have
no.
killed him with hammers.
Damn, Mike.
Can you say that?
You know that ET tweet?
Allegedly.
You've heard that
Unalive.
ET tweet.
Unalive.
Unalive. That can't be cut, bro.
You've
Unalive.
With ham?
if he broke into my
This
house
isn't
through
a
the
dream
chimney.
Mike had.
Why is
It's a
this the episode
nightmare.
you guys invited me on?
He's
Now I'm an
Santa.
accomplice,
Right. You said he's
admitting to crimes.
Hold
not
on,
hypothetical
hold on.
crime.
Hold on.
Him
You have
with
two, hold on,
hammers.
no, hold on.
Right?
You have
Poor
two
Jackson.
babies in your house. If it's Christmas Eve, you hear a rustling at the
Oh
front
my
of the
God,
house.
you're doubling
You could've
down.
said
Walk to the
jump
front
him.
of the
Me and
house,
my
and it's
friends
a
would've jumped him.
7-foot tall
You said kill
skeleton
him with
in a velour
hammers.
suit. And there's a hammer in your
Come on.
hand. You're gonna put the hammer down.
Why do you have a hammer?
You have a hammer in your
But
hand?
Oklahoma
You walk out to
City
the-
Thunder
That's
are
what I'm
really
wondering.
good. We can all
Okay, fair
agree,
question.
right? What a
When
great
there's a
basketball
noise in
team.
your house, what do you walk out to the front with?
Let's talk about SGA, bro.
a
Incredible
knife,
basketball
but
player,
OKC
bro.
is
Never misses shots he could make.
SGA was really taking a hammer to the
You
hear what I'm
to
saying?
whoever,
I know that's
you know,
right.
Like he was really knocking him down, right?
they're really, really good. And if they don't come out of the West, it's gonna be because something went so far left. Like
For
I
sure.
will be absolutely bowled over shocked if they're not the team coming out of the Western Conference. They have everything. They're top 5 defense, offense. I think they're number 1, maybe even in defense. And Shai is a superstar. He's arrived. Hartenstein and Caruso. I mean, we were talking about this Tyler and I were talking about this on Twitter yesterday, but like the fact that Sam Presti got Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey with nothing else, no picks, not even second round picks, just nothing. Just here's Josh Giddey. You give me Alex Caruso, the end. Like that is the craziest. I still can't believe that happened in real time. It was crazy. It's only gotten crazier as it's aged. And they add this perfect offseason additions for them. They were already the number 1 team in the West last year. And then they added exactly what they needed. Like they're awesome. And they're for sure coming out of the West. Like I feel so confident saying that.
Yeah. I mean, they were already a really good defense before adding Caruso and adding Hartenstein. And yeah, it's just like, you know, we went into the season saying, you know, OKC had the best off season, and it was just because they picked up Caruso and Hartenstein, right?
Yeah.
We knew that those were perfect pieces to get them to where they want to be. They didn't need any more firepower. They got an incredible perimeter defender in Caruso, got a great post defender in Hartenstein, and now they're the best defense in the league, bro. Like, they're for sure, you know, and even at the top of the season, I was like, you know, okay, they'd get my pick on who I think is coming out the West, but they've even exceeded my expectations on how good they would be and how great, you know, Caruso and Hartenstein would be a fit there.
Yeah.
Watching OKC makes me like, when I thought about the Lakers, just blow it up, bro.
Right.
I remember when people it's over with. You have no fucking shot.
They're not capable of trying to play defense on that level.
That's a whole ass, but and they're so good and they're so young, bro. It's over with. Start over. It's nothing you have now is you can't compete with these guys.
They're fast, they're young, they're athletic, and the most important thing, and this is like the Boston Celtics formula, shout out to Jackson, is that every single player on that team that I can think of.
Credit for the Boston Celtics formula. He had nothing.
He's a fan. Bro.
I just said shout. I was just acknowledging his presence. I'm not giving him credit, but the Oklahoma City Thunder, like every player that is actually going to get time, which is like basically like a 9 or 10 man rotation or something, probably is a 2-way player. Like everybody can shoot, everybody can defend, and they're all young enough to like not run out of steam. So
they're cheap enough to fit the current apron structure. And what blew me away, I started like ticking it off on my hands watching it, was the number of plays consecutively where they would blitz Luka. You double Luka to start the possession as he crosses half court,
and then get back
they
to their
wouldn't
guy.
give up an open shot.
Yes, Lou Dort. Did you see that shot someone posted? Like Lou Dort was doubling Luka, and then he got all the way from the top of the key on the other side, all the way to the corner to block a 3-point shot, and successfully blocked it. Like, what do you do with that, bro? Like, I mean, Luka Doncic is Luka.
You got to change the order that your offense has you pass the ball. Like you have to change everything because it's like we know where your first pass and your second pass out of a double is going.
But the problem is because they're so fast and athletic, even if they overcommit somewhere, they can recover so quickly and get back to where they need to be. So like it's Celtics Thunder at the end. I mean, it's what we all thought at the beginning of the season is going to happen. Like, come on.
I saw a stat that said we've never seen a team average more steals and deflections than this team, which is just, you know, because steals can be a bit of a misleading stat at times. Like there are ways you can cherry pick steals. You can play passing lanes. Like Allen Iverson, my personal most favorite player ever, led the league in steals multiple times. It was not a lockdown defender by any measure, right? But yeah, that deflection stat, bro, that is a team that is pesky. That is a team that is not taking any possessions off. That is a team that thinks they can get the ball back from you every single time you have it, bro. And I can't imagine it has to be hell playing those dudes. I cannot imagine, bro.
And I just like can't overstate top 5 in both offense and defense, missing one of maybe their second best player, like one of their 5 starters. You don't think Chet's their second? I mean, I guess Jalen. So third best player at worst. Like
Chet's number 2 for me. Mike is just an anti-Chet guy. I don't think he'll ever.
They look really good without him.
I mean, they're just.
I think Hartenstein.
They look
better.
really good without him.
That is a hot take.
What you said? Who?
That is a scolding.
I think Hartenstein is better than Chet. I'm dead ass.
You think your logic behind that?
You think 10 points?
Is it
per
just because
game,
he looks bigger and stronger, or what is the reasoning
well,
here?
I think he's quite a significantly better defender because of how much stronger he is. You want to put Chet up against Nikola Jokic?
That's why they got
Hartenstein. Put anybody up against Jokic.
So that they didn't have to put Chet against Jokic.
I know, but like I think Hartenstein is a better defender. I think he's a better rebounder, and I think he's a dramatically better passer. He's not Draymond Green level, but if you throw it to him at the elbow, he is making.
Okay, we're talking about player, not just defender. better player as a whole
I know.
because he can guard. You can throw him. He has a bigger body to put in front of Nikola. Jokic is doing the exact same thing to both of them niggas, bro.
I'm a big Isaiah fan, but I can't stand for this. Like Chet is a way better player than Isaiah Hartenstein. The one thing I will give Hartenstein credit for that I think is underrated, and I noticed this a lot in the playoffs last year with the Knicks, his touch at the basket is remarkable.
It's been this way. His floater is
he has incredible touch.
Here's how, let me rephrase it slightly. If you were building a team from scratch, I think Chet Holmgren is a better player to start a team with than Isaiah Hartenstein. But as not your best player, as anything other than your number one player, I think Hartenstein is better than
Hartenstein is really good at Hartenstein's what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean?
He's like a perfect
he's really
role
good
player.
at his role. Perfect at his role. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, I understand. But Chet's a better basketball player.
1000%.
Just
you got to do some real.
The chat generally agrees with you guys. I have a couple rogues.
Just in case to close off our chat conversation, just in case anyone didn't know what I was referencing, one of my favorite tweets of all time from Hello Cullen. Me and my friends would have killed ET with hammers. I can tell you that much. That's what I was.
Oh, it was a reference.
Okay.
Why didn't you lead with that?
I did. It was just like we were laughing. I think
we were laughing so hard that we couldn't hear the explanation.
Like the ET tweet.
Because you were talking about a human. That's where it just got real.
I did cry off my eye makeup laughing, so there is that. But
okay, that's good. Okay, we
talked a lot about the defense. I want to say like the flow of the ball and their offense is incredible too.
It's an amazing basketball team. Like really, the flaws don't exist that I can see. I mean, that's the flaw.
You know,
they haven't really been there before. That's my only concern with them in the playoffs is their limited amount of playoff experience. They just haven't had a ton of, especially deep playoff experience. But I think they're fine. They're so confident. Like Shai is a supernova, and he's been an MVP candidate for 2 years running. Like I think they're going to be fine.
And I think the things that make you good in the playoffs, like the deflections, that's a sign of a competitive team. Like they're competing at, you know what I'm saying, on both ends of the court in every position. You know what I mean? And so I think it'll translate really well. And I think they've grown up since last year. They'll be, they're gonna, I think they'll be just fine.
And Caruso's not gonna let them act like teenagers in the play. Nope. I mean, like Alex Caruso's there, like that is like a hard hat wearing, like NBA, like go to work, do your job, professional, you know? And I think especially,
That's
Isaiah
the most
and
Republican
Alex.
thing about me, I love Alex Caruso so much. It's like he's so much higher on my favorite basketball player rankings than he should be. But every time I watch him, I'm like looking at Vinny the whole game. Like, you see the way
I love him too. Did you see the video of him hip checking someone after he got knocked to the ground? There's like a video floating around of like he gets knocked down in like a kind of aggressive possession. He waits down on the ground for a second to see if he's going to get the foul. Doesn't get the foul. Pops up as everyone's coming back in transition. He just hip checks the guy who knocked him over as hard as he can. It's awesome. Yeah, he's the best. I love Alex Caruso.
We have our first moment when we think Woj is truly, truly happy to be retired from the world of news breaking, which is that Shams is engaged in a really public agent beef, which I know has been delighting the absolute hell out of Tyler.
How the turntables.
How the turntables. Jackson, are there any have there been any further developments since we've been recording? Okay.
Not since
Tyler, do you want to give the context and what you're hoping to see from Shams here?
Okay, so basically, you know, a couple days back, word got out that Jimmy wants out, and we got a list of his preferred destinations. And yesterday, Shams tweeted out that I think that the destinations were what? Dallas, Houston,
Golden State,
right? Yeah,
those were the three.
And then Shams yesterday tweeted that he has added Phoenix to his list of, you know, preferred destinations. And I'm gonna read the tweets from the agent because I do not want to shortchange this at all. Because this,
I was gonna read them. If
he did his big one with these tweets.
Dog. Okay, so the agent's name is Bernard Lee. And he tweeted, "All right, listen." When I saw that, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like that first sentence, I was like, "Okay."
Play the ether beat in the background.
Yeah. I gave you a pass yesterday because I was busy. But if you don't stop putting my name on your complete and utter made up bullshit, because you normally aren't worth my time to acknowledge, then he put parentheses, continued, goes on to another tweet. I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm a middle-aged dad, but
I love that.
I love that. I love the
self-awareness.
Self-awareness, man. Love
right?
that.
Right. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm a middle-aged dad, but just know it would indicate severe dislike. World ... All this is fabricated. I have never, and honestly, it wouldn't help me or the position I represent to do anything that's been reported by said journalists in quotation.
In quotes. That's the kicker. You put journalists in quotes.
Yeah. And then he says, Shams, this is your opportunity to say, my bad. I let ChatGPT write my tweets. And it went old school Peter Vesey. Then he puts in parentheses, Shams, Peter was a writer in the 90s. Another jab at his journalism there.
And age.
Yeah.
Really young, yeah.
Yeah, and his age too. Be a trendsetter. Invent the new I was hacked. Carry on. Thank you. Listen, bro, when this shit came down my timeline yesterday, I legitimately thought it was a troll.
I had to check it wasn't Centel. I thought it was Centel.
Bro, I thought, okay, this is someone who changed their profile to Jimmy's agent and is getting these tweets off. And then I saw Mickey Arison retweet the shit, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. And I went and I had to go check Mickey's Twitter, and I went and checked his media, and there was Mickey doing all types of rich guy shit. So I was like, okay, this is legit, right? Right? There used to be a way we used to tell who was real on Twitter before Elon came along, you know. But,
yeah, that was really handy.
Yeah. But bro, that is just so wild to me, especially in this fledgling era that that Shams is in, is kind of the new figurehead of
he got humbled
in this arena, in the basketball scoop arena. It's like, bro, he told you not only is your scoop wrong, he told you he doesn't like you, and he told you do not speak on him. I was like,
my name out your mouth.
Yeah, I was like, bro, I watched that and I was like, for one, Woj would not have gotten this scoop wrong. And two, Woj would not have let that man talk to him like that. No. Like, and this isn't a shot at Bernard Lee, at the agent, as me trying to say he's someone who knows who to pick with. It's just, we've seen what Woj will and will not tolerate. We saw him tell that Republican congressman to go fuck himself when he emailed him, right?
Yeah.
Like I know that Woj would have set that dude straight if he came at him like that, but Woj wouldn't have been in that situation because I'm sure he wouldn't have came out here with some false information like that. But I'm just confused at how Shams got this one so wrong, because we all know Shams is the agent guy, right? And Woj is the front office guy. So I'm just very confused at where he got this information from, and I hope we get some clarity on Shams' part. But it looks like Shams is just ignoring this shit, bro. So
that's robot, the question I have too.
The one update that the chat has said, the chat has informed us that he went on SportsCenter this morning and said that he 100% backed his reporting, but has not explicitly said whether he's spoken to Bernie Lee.
That feels like something that you would mention if you had, right? To like clear your name. Like,
right. I would assume
no, this reporting came directly from his mouth. I have receipts, like blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And if it didn't come directly from his agent, then dropping his agent's name in the reporting is wild. That is flagrant. Like, if that's not where you got the information from, like using that as, he basically named him as a source.
Yeah.
Like, just from a reporting perspective, that's crazy.
One thing Claire and I could both confirm for everyone is that as a reporter, when you start referring to the reporting as a like separate entity, it is usually not a sign that things are going well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the reporting was vetted, and I like stand.
I mean,
by
luckily,
like,
you know, knock on wood, I've never had anyone like come back and question anything that I've said. But I definitely, you know, there is a real phenomenon that like sometimes things come out that people didn't think were going to come out, and then they'll go back and say that they're false when they're true. Right. But in Shams' position, like if you're going to use Jimmy Butler's agent's name in the original reporting and say like per this person, either, you know, you either need to have communicated to him that you're going to go public with this, or at least have talked to him. So that's the thing that's like not quite, the dots aren't connecting for me, is like I would imagine that if you were going to use someone's name like that they had to have at least communicate. Maybe it was a miscommunication, I guess, is possible, but that's for him to just make it up and use his name. Like, I don't know. I don't see that happening. I'm not trying to give Shams too much credit, but like you're working at ESPN and you're naming names in your story. Like, you talked to somebody.
Yeah.
But Bernie Lee didn't even know how to thread. Like, he didn't even know how to thread the tweet. That's why I believe him. He was that mad when he went and found the tweet again 3 times to write how he felt. that nigga was hot. You feel what I'm saying? So, bro, I feel like he had been lied on and he was sick. Like, I don't know even how to thread. I'm going to let him know, feel all of me, though. I got more to say. Fuck it. You know what I mean? So
I did have one person I interviewed tried to like call my boss and said that I didn't say that. And he, which he did say it, and I had it recorded, and he ended up getting fired over it, which is why he was calling my boss, trying to get me in trouble or whatever. But that's why we record things.
That's just, that's a gnat.
What he said was crazy also.
And it was on the record. It's always a sign of a really
high school girls soccer coach.
Ooh.
And he said that he felt the R word by the officials of the high school soccer game. And I wrote
the hard R word.
No, like he felt the word for sexual assault, which I won't even use in the context because of how fucking crazy it was for him to say it. And I quoted him in the story, and he said, I didn't say that. He said, I felt wrecked. And I was like, that's not what you said, homie.
You had to report that. You need to get him the fuck away from, you know what I'm saying? From those
they need to vet.
For sure.
They need to vet.
They had to
the people around children better.
Get him away.
Yeah.
The hell?
Sure. Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
So where do y'all think we're at with this Jimmy drama? The more I think about it, the more I don't think Jimmy's going anywhere, bro. I think this is just an argument that Jimmy has had with management and with Raleigh that has gotten a bit too out of hand, and there was probably some emotions there. And because we've seen before that they've had these types of dust ups, right? Like, and I honestly think Pat Riley is a dude who enjoys a good scuffle. Right. And I honestly think he's a dude who low key will not respect a star player who isn't willing to butt heads back with him. You know what I mean? So,
Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler are both Italian. You know what I mean? Like in the way that they communicate with people and deal with interpersonal relationships. Like this is like part of that.
Vic Damone Jr. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. This is just part of the process of like them working together. Is this going to be some conflict like this?
And Jimmy just opened his flagship Big Face coffee shop in Miami. So in the design district, I believe. So, I mean, that's like quite an investment to make in Miami if you're not planning on staying there. But the only thing I will say as far as like devil's advocate, he has a player option next year, I believe. And if Miami's going to get something for him, like he could opt out and become a free agent. Like, so I think Miami is incentivized to move him just because they're either going to move him now or potentially lose him for nothing. So I would say that would be the only reason I would think I'm leaning. I would say like 60% he's not going anywhere. 40% he gets moved at the deadline just because of the asset retention or whatever the like fancy word is.
I think Jimmy's at the stage in his career where you're not going to get a star back in return for him. You're going to get you might get a kid, a player on the come up and some picks, right? That's what you're going to get. And I feel like we just haven't seen Miami go and blow it up, rebuild it mode in damn near our whole lifetime, right? I don't think Pat Riley's that guy. Pat Riley's like 75 years old. He doesn't have time for that shit. I think he's constantly in win now mode. And like I said, I think it's just a little, Jimmy and management and ownership button heads, and they got a little too public, and I don't think anything's going to come of it.
You remember when Nip hopped out there on Twitter and said that him and Lauren London had broke up? And then Lauren London was like, let's go to lunch. Shut the fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's how this is going to end. Like, bro, boy, stop. Come on. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to pull up. Let's go get some In-N-Out. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like.
Like you ever seen that Facebook post where a dude said, I'm tired of my girl always trying to run me. She get on my nerves. And she responded to it and said, boy, come downstairs so we can go to eat. Like, it's basically that.
That's a very real life interaction.
Very real life, bro. Very
also,
real
the Heat have quietly been kind of good lately. Like, it's not like they're bottom dwellers in the East. Like, they're right in the mix. Like, they always are, Like, they had a kind of a rough start. But I think, what are they, like 5th, 6th in the East right now? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
I think it's something like that. Let me check.
Sorry, I should have looked that up myself before saying it.
No, they're 12 and 10 in the 5th.
Okay, yeah.
Right now.
Can we make fun of the state of Ohio now? Is it time to do that?
Oh God, is it a state or is it just weirdo? And is he a Republican? Because he has to be, right?
A lawmaker in the state of Ohio has proposed a new law called the Ohio Sportsmanship Act. OHIO Sportsmanship Act that would make it a felony to plant a flag I want to be clear about this. Not at any stadium's midfield, only at midfield of an Ohio State game, because they especially need this extra protection. He says he's doing it in the name of player safety and sportsmanship. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this?
I want to first I want to say that I have to say that this isn't on Ohio and this isn't on Ohio State fans, because if you check the mentions on that, there were so many Ohioans and so many Ohio State fans saying, no, this is not what we do. Right? This motherfucker went rogue. He is not tapped in to the people that he represents. He is not tapped into his constituents. He just made that loss so much worse for Ohio State and Ohio State fans. This is something we're going to remember forever when we remember, this rivalry. And it's just like, bro, Michigan made your local legislators try to pass legislation against them because of the asshole they took. It's just, I feel like Drake might have opened Pandora's box here, dog. I feel like
No.
the filing legislation because you get your feelings hurt. Like I feel like that might be the new wave now. He might have been a trendsetter there, but it's just, bro. Like I said, you can't put this on Ohio. You can't put this on Ohio State fans because they are not with this shit at all, as they shouldn't be.
John, it is indeed a Republican lawmaker, and I'll show you.
Oh, of course. I looked at his face. I'm like, that's a Republican nigga face. But anyway,
Damn, John.
but what's interesting to me was that he came out like it was like, this is what I'm doing for us, and everybody's like, who's us?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
what? Does anyone know this guy?
Like, I don't even know this man. You know what I'm saying? Have you seen him? What's his name? You know what I mean? Like, he was just so like standing on it. Like, this is exciting for everybody. Like, come on, bro.
There
It's
is
embarrassing.
a funnier
It's
moment.
embarrassing.
I saw an Abby with a golden retriever in an Ohio State scarf saying, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Cuss that man out. That
Like,
golden
that man is
retriever.
That's your
Cussed out,
base.
like,
That
yeah,
is his
right.
base.
That
That
is
is
home
Wiggins in
base.
Ohio.
You can't lose the
Dog
golden retriever
Abby.
vote.
Right.
That's a death knell right there.
For sure. For sure.
In the chat, we had someone, Miles, say when Mike showed that picture, he just said in all caps with a question mark and an exclamation point, black.
Well, he's Republican,
Yo. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I was absolutely
That's
taken
another-
aback by that too. Then I was like, okay, this motherfucker has to be Republican. Then
I just love, like, with all the problems our society has, like, there is so much wrong. There's like a laundry list a mile long of things we need. Like, people are hungry and inflation and all these different things. He's like, you know what's wrong? Flags in a field. We really need to tackle that. That's where I'm gonna prioritize my time.
You knew he was a Republican as well because he had a red tie, a white shirt, and a blue jacket. And here's my question. Why don't they ever mix up the combo, bro? Why not a white jacket with the red shirt and a blue tie?
Because then you're a
don't wear no
doctor.
white
Why does it
jacket.
always have to
You're
be
wearing
the
a white
white shirt,
jacket,
the
you're a
red tie, and the
doctor.
blue
You
jacket?
can't wear
You
a
know what I
white
mean?
jacket. I don't know why.
Why not a red jacket, a blue shirt, and a white tie? You know,
White tie's
why
crazy
the
too,
same
bro.
combo?
That feels very JD
Why-
Vance. Has he worn a red jacket? That seems like something he would do.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
The funnier moment coming to us is when this dude gets like primaried, by probably an Ohio State player or something,
Mhm,
and
yeah.
he has to answer the question of like, why did you get voted out of office? And he's like, oh well, the people of Ohio wanted to preserve Michigan's right to embarrass the shit out of him.
Probably just didn't like him.
It's their right to humiliate us on our home field. God damn it. You can't take away their right as college football players.
So funny. People are so like precious about their college sports traditions. Like, you really can't mess with it. Just gotta leave it.
Yeah.
Smile and nod
Yep.
at whatever the weird traditions are.
Here's a weird new college sports tradition. Bill Belichick has officially taken the job at the University of North Carolina. At first, I thought this was very weird and potentially somewhat creepy, given that his girlfriend, I believe, is college aged.
What?
Slightly older.
Yeah.
She's like 24.
He's
but
72.
maybe,
Yeah,
Something.
could absolutely be her grandpa easily.
Oh yeah, easily.
he's 72. He was born in 1952. Jesus Christ.
Same year
What
my
the
mom was
fuck
born.
was going on in 52?
Actually, hold on. Let me think. Same year my mom was born, bro. Can't really like that's you not 20-year-olds are not for you. Bill
No,
Belichick.
period.
I don't even
bro.
want to date a 24-year-old. They're so young. Like,
Bro. I remember when I turned 28, I had a rule that you couldn't be more than 4 years younger than me.
yeah.
Because at that point it got like
I mean, and then you get old enough
at 24
that
and young, yeah.
You could
It
be
changes,
40
yeah. Like
dating a
Rhonda's
36-year-old.
5 years younger than me, but
Right.
I was 35 when I met her, 36 when I met her. You know what I mean? So
That's different. Yeah. That's
yeah.
different.
But like in the 20s, like when you get under 25, like bro, like that's and I'm closer to 30, like bro. Nah,
If you can't rent a car, you have no business dating an actual
it
adult.
should be illegal. That's
Zero.
the
How are you going to take him to the hospital? You know what I mean? You can't even rent a car. Like you gotta have to have your
crazy.
car on you.
What
at
does
all
Bill
times.
Belichick have in common with a 24-year-old woman?
Zero.
You know she's making him make TikToks with her and shit. He's like, "What's on the TikTok? Like, what even is that?" Like
that would redeem it in my eyes if
nasty, bro.
He's forced to become a TikTok content creator.
Filthy,
it's just
filthy work.
Icky.
I will say this. I did start to have a little bit more interest in Bill Belichick as the coach at the University of North Carolina when I heard that his father was a coach at North Carolina and his first words were "Duke sucks," according to Bill Belichick.
I'm gonna fact check that.
That explains it. I don't know that we have the footage.
I'm gonna go Bernie Lee and I'm gonna call bullshit on that. I don't know.
How did people respond? Like, was there a good response when he said that?
North Carolina fans are
North
pretty
Carolina
fired
fans love it.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, it ain't got to be the truth as long as he got the right people on his side.
They said when he interviewed for the job, I think the thought was that he was trying to drive the cost up for NFL teams or whatever else. Bill Belichick is a football history nut, and his dad did start his career at North Carolina, and part of the agreement is apparently that when Bill retires, his son gets to become the next head coach at North Carolina. So like there was that lineage thing, I think, in his mind.
Okay. What just happened? Part of the
what in the succession?
Yeah.
Like,
the agreement is that when he retires,
they
his
put
son
nepotism
will
in the contract.
I don't know that it's in the contract.
They made a succession plan for his new job.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Hey man,
we're pro nepotism on this podcast.
For your son?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do it. Show me or Shola baby. Oh yeah. If
Imagine
I had opportunity,
showing up
if I
at
could set him
college
up like that.
as like an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And your coach is Bill Belichick. Like that's so much. That's so intense. You're trying to do like beer bongs and shit. He's like running it like the army.
Yeah. I wonder how that's going to affect like recruiting. I wonder, like, do people want to play? I mean, he has, obviously he's a great coach.
His pitch is as follows.
People want to play for him, you think?
His pitch is, I'm going to turn this into an NFL factory. He's not going to be recruiting off of, we're trying to win the the Duke Bowl.
I'm trying to get you to the league, bro. Boom.
The pitch is.
Yeah.
And I would assume that with him coming in, there will be a lot of money behind it. And I would assume that the recruiting they're doing is not 17-year-olds, but they're recruiting 22-year-olds out of the portal.
For sure.
They're saying, you come here, I'm going to give you everything you need to know about how you're getting ready for the combine, how you're getting what teams actually want to see. Like, I think that's the pitch, and I do think that could be effective. There was also a report that he gave them a 400-page Bible of what his plan for every layer of the North Carolina football program would be and
Nobody
how to
read all of
operate
that.
in the college
I knew he didn't
football.
want to be in broadcasting. He's at home writing a 400-page Bible about how to like reinvigorate UNC. Like,
So here's my question.
You're too much of a
That's
sicko to be a
manifesto for sure.
broadcaster.
Not a
Here's my
manifesto,
question,
but
Joe.
a manifesto.
Why can we call a 263-word post a manifesto?
It's a manifesto. It's a manifesto.
And a 400-page manifesto by Bill Belichick is a Bible. Like words.
Well, it's definitely not a Bible.
That's
something, bro.
And you can't say that in North Carolina. That's for damn
You can't
sure.
say it's a. They're gonna be on that head. They're gonna be on that. The
absolutely
Bible
not.
belt. It's heavy over there.
Nope.
You feel me? But yeah.
It's all in
No,
the
that's
intention.
right back to Connecticut or wherever
If
the
you're
hell.
explaining some diabolical shit, it's a manifesto, bro. That's it.
Yeah.
Not if you're explaining, how
It's like two paragraphs.
That's how I know he has nothing in common with his girlfriend. No 24-year-old in their right mind wants to sit there while their boyfriend writes a 400-page breakdown of how to reinvigorate a college football program. Like, come on now. She's taking Jello shots. She's
Maybe
24.
that's why it works, you know?
Because she outside and he inside. They don't, you know what I mean? They just got an agreement. You know what I mean? Shit. Crazy.
All right. Well, good luck.
In his study, writing typing away. Leave me alone. Do not interrupt me. I'm on page 376. I'm almost done.
His glasses are like all the way down the bridge of his nose. It's like by candlelight.
Right. You feel me?
I have him in like the cliche like sleep cap with like the robe.
Sure. Classical music blaring behind him. You know what I mean? The fire paste is crackling. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
It's a bear hide over his shoulders. You know what I mean? Like I see all of it, dog.
Speaking of college, though, like at what point did he start realizing he could get to 400 pages? Like maybe it could have been a 365-page plan, and he was like, "I could throw another 30."
When inspiration hits you, brother, you listen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He just followed his heart all the way to 400 pages.
It's just so funny to think about every aspect of this, though. Like, because so many college athletes, but college football players are like talk about their head coach is like another second father figure or maybe a first father, whatever, and how he helped them through so much. That I had this struggle. Coach helped me through. I had trouble in school, whatever. Can you imagine a 21-year-old going to Bill Belichick and being like, "Coach, my mom is sick and I got this class I got to juggle. Like, how do I handle this? My girlfriend is upset about whatever." And he's just like, "Show up at practice on time. I do not care." Like, what? You like, you know what I mean?
So much of being a college coach is babysitting.
In your family.
Yeah, I had deadpan.
Do your job. I had a high school, my freshman coach would make us take, he was a Bob Knight, like he thought he was God, right? Had us take notes, pen and paper after practice. I'm talking about sweat dripping off my face onto the paper. We had a booklet.
So
you know,
proud of him.
Writing notes after practice, bro. You feel me? Like if you didn't play like out of straight triple threat, like bend your knees, shoulder, he wanted us to be robots out there, bro. I went up to JV and dropped 20. I said, "Fuck what they got going on." We ain't I was like, bro, fuck. No, it was horrible, bro. Crazy. So he kind of seems like that to a degree, how he'll treat these shorties that, you know, can't speak to him how like NFL players could. And I wonder how long it's going to last. When a motherfucker, you walk in there and yes, I'm an NFL factory, but you got to read this 400-page Bible. You know what I'm saying?
The only thing I would say about college football is that it does not resemble anymore, for better and worse. This is a second father figure. This is like you have the ability with the NIL and portal era to have the exact program you want to have. And so for people who want to be the second father figure, Dabo, you don't have to take one dude out of the portal. But Bill Belichick, he's going to get all grad transfers. They're all going to be 23. You know, like I think that's what he's going to put.
Is it Dabo
together looking like?
It's Dabo.
I like calling him Dabo.
I heard Dabo. I've heard it pronounced all different ways. I'm wondering what it
Dabo,
really is.
But if the accent's hard enough, you could get it back to Dabo.
Yeah.
Dabo.
Right.
Dabo.
Yeah. Dabo. Either way, fuck them. How about that? You know what I mean?
All right. You guys got anything else? I think that's all the time we got. My wife just sent me a tweet. It says, "Please don't invite me over if you have a leather couch that's peeling. I will peel it some more when you're not looking." That's true. She will do that.
Oh, yes. How do you not?
Yeah.
How do you not? It's begging you. Anyway.
Maybe you should get a new couch.
Maybe they should.
Whoever's
Claire,
couch that is.
What does that say on the wall behind you? I just see the word yearning.
Oh, I can move my mic.
Oh,
we're pro yearners here.
We are.
So that's
we are.
I'm a yearner.
Yeah. We're pro.
Like Woody Page now.
What?
What?
Is Claire Woody Page just like writing little like isms on the board?
No, that's actually a two-sided poster. And the other side, which is why I originally bought it, was a little salacious, and it was in the background of every like podcast appearance and Zoom I was in. And so I flipped the other side.
Yeah.
Says,
"This is the pod."
Okay, the side that I purchased says, "Prayer is whatever you say on your knees," which I just thought was like an incredible poster and loved it. And I have a lot of like Like I just like kind of slightly controversial art or whatever. So I have a lot of like naked lady art and stuff in my house. So it kind of went with the theme. And then people started commenting like in the YouTube comment sections of podcasts I was on and stuff. Is like, does that say? And I'm like, you know what?
You're
Just
like,
for
oh,
like
the internet sure does ruin everything for everyone.
Yeah.
professionalism's sake. And I actually do like the sentiment of this one as well.
Yeah.
It's not the reason I purchased it, but I'm happy with this one too.
You
It's like a
forget you're
similar.
recording in your home. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
wish I
Like,
wasn't. I wish I could afford to just like go somewhere else, but
right, a studio for sure.
just a little upstart, girl with a dream in this NBA media world. So my house it is.
Look around.
Yeah, we're all at our homes.
Yep. Hey, it's like I can control the thermostat here. All right, that's all the time we got for today. We'll be back on Sunday night, as far as I know, and we will see y'all then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.